The Graduate Theological Foundation offers both a Doctor of Philosophy and a Doctor of Psychology in the field of clinical pastoral psychotherapy. Clinical pastoral psychotherapy is the study and treatment of dysfunctions in interpersonal relationships within the context of a spiritual worldview and ethos, which provides a values-based framework for analysis and therapy. For those degrees, the PsyD and the PhD, we offer 8 specific courses in clinical pastoral psychotherapy. The first course, they're all e-tutorials. The first course is called the Classical Schools of Psychotherapy. Let me say something about the e-tutorial. The e-tutorial is built upon the Oxford University model, of which we are an affiliate, emphasizing the interpersonal relationship between the scholar and the student. It's not a group chat. It's not a website that requires special technology, etc. It's all conducted through email. And the relationship is between the tutor, the faculty person, and the student. So it's strictly one-on-one. And the course is usually built around the textbook that's been written by the faculty person himself or herself. In the instance of the Classical Schools of Psychotherapy, the student uses my book called Beginning with Freud, the Classical Schools of Psychotherapy, and we go through the 8 classical schools, beginning with Freud. We do a whole course on that using e-tutorial. They write a paper based on the assigned readings for the week. I respond within 3 days. They write another paper the next week. I respond. And at the end of 6 weeks, the doctoral student has normally written up to 6,000 words and also has received comparable amount of response from myself as the author of the book. At the end of that, the compilation of all of that writing results in a final paper. The Classical Schools course emphasizes an acquaintance with the primary sources, but we use my book, Beginning with Freud, and several of my other books, but primarily the Beginning with Freud book, as an introduction to each of the 8 schools. So the student will read the chapter on Freud that I have written, and will read one or more of his or her selections from the primary sources of Freud. The id and ego, our civilization and its discontents, or whatever. The student is allowed to choose the primary source that he or she wishes to read and respond to. The second person in the series is Alfred Adler, and then Carl Jung. And the 4th school, which is called the 3rd school of Viennese psychoanalysis, is Viktor Frankl. Then they write a paper on Erik Erikson and Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers, and the course ends with a paper on Harry Stack Sullivan. The purpose of the writing of the paper is a reflection by the student, the doctoral student, on the assigned readings in response to what the tutor, in this case myself, what the tutor has said about the subject matter in my book. And so at the end of the 6 weeks, we've had a really lively give and take just between the two of us, between the student making an inquiry into the subject matter and myself, who has written the book and spent 40 years studying in this field. That's the Classical Schools of Psychotherapy. Following that course, there are 8 more courses that a student takes, one course, whole course on each of those 8 individuals, ending the 10-course sequence by taking a course in research methodology. Following that, for the Doctor of Philosophy degree, the student writes a major research thesis, which then is defended before a faculty either here or at Oxford. For the Doctor of Psychology, the student comes here for a 1-week clinical skills assessment practicum, which he or she does with me, at the end of which the degree program is complete. This constitutes the Classical Schools of Psychotherapy e-tutorial. Thank you.